A crypto prodigy, 23, is abducted and tortured after scamming investors out of $29 million before blowing $12 million on a fleet of supercars, luxury vacations, and a private jet. So, a self proclaimed Canadian crypto king was kidnapped and tortured after he reportedly scammed investors out of millions to live a glamorous lifestyle, according to a lawsuit. Aidan Pletorowski, 23, is currently going through bankruptcy proceedings as authorities in Canada try to recover the 29 million he's accused of scamming out of investors. Just 1.6 million has been returned, with reports saying Pletorowski spent most of it on a private jet, a huge fleet of flashy cars, and luxury vacations. The latest revelations made by Plechinsky's father in a government report detailing what happened to the funds are that Plechinsky was kidnapped in the middle of the night in December. Adams Peters said he got a late night call demanding 3 million Canadian or 2.1 million USD in ransom. Peters then claims his son was driven around Ontario, beaten, and tortured. And the thing is, right, you don't want anyone to end up losing their life or anything like that. But at the same time, there are consequences if you scam people for millions of dollars. Like, you probably took people's life savings. Crazy. He was supposedly released after a few days, but threatened to come up with the money quickly or else. One of the few calls he was allowed to make was to his landlord, who testified that Plersky's called begging him for the millions in ransom payments. And why would the landlord do that? I said, there's absolutely nothing that I can do. No suspects have been revealed in the kidnapping, and Toronto police did not provide any information on the suspected kidnapper or if any arrests were made. Rob Stelzer, the trustee appointed to produce the report, told CTV he received a call from Toronto police in early December about the kidnapping. I mean, obviously he owes a lot of people a lot of money, Stelzer said. The 29 million may just be the beginning of what Pleasure owes investors, according to attorney Norman Group, who was hired by some of those scammed by the crypto king. Groot characterizes Plersky as having run a Ponzi scheme on his clients, with investments made by some clients allegedly used to fake returns for others. Crazy. Yeah, I'm just spending money, spending money, spending money. So he's trying to find out just how much Plersky transferred out of his account, with losses that could be double that 29 million. Plersky claimed in 2021 that he lost investments when the crypto market crashed in the fall of that year. In doing so, I guess you could say greed took over. I was taking very aggressive positions, and I was trying to make returns that obviously weren't feasible or weren't necessarily possible at the time, and it just caused more losses, he said. A report by trustees investigating the scheme say Plesky took the 29 million from investors and said he would invest it in both crypto and foreign currencies. The trustees claim he invested just about 485,000 or less than 2% of the total funds at hand. The report alleges he spent approximately 362,000 on a warehouse where he stored the remaining cash. What? Videos and posted videos and photos posted to his Instagram stories and highlights show off his fleet of luxury cars and his private jet trips to Miami. His extravagant vacations are also documented in the highlights, show the crypto king living his best life on luxury yachts, jet skiing over the bright waters, dining out on wine and oysters with women and friends, and front row seats at concerts. His 95.2k followers gush over his every move, complimenting Plesky on his fit and drooling brush with celebs like Machine Gun Kelly in over his luxurious lifestyle. Yeah, so Probably a lot of his followers were just like, "Here, take my money, try to make some more money, please." Blah 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 blah. Criticism. Yeah, he owned a lot of cars. It also says especially drove at least 10 different sports cars, including a rare McLaren Senna purchased for over 1 million in September 2021. Another 700,000 went to the mansion Plesky lived in, including both rent and a down payment to eventually buy it. He gave another 940,000 to an associate, while Cesar claims Plesky's parents also got around 800,000 from their son. Stelzer, the government trustee, wants the property sold and the money refunded to Plesky's investors. Plesky's parents said they believed their son was operating a successful investment business. I knew when he was in high school he was playing games upstairs on his computer, just like any other teenager, Plesky's father said in December, which was detailed in a transcript included in the report. But at some point, you became aware that he was trading in cryptocurrency, the trustee's lawyer asked. At some point, yes, the father responded. Stelzer alleged that the parents benefited more than 1.1 million from their son's scheme. The pair have agreed to return an Audi S5 and a Volkswagen Atlas with a market value in excess of 100,000 to the trustee, CTV News reported. They will also fork over 812,000 by June 30th in cooperation with the bankruptcy proceedings, the report claims. Stelzer has said he believes there are more people who lost money in the scheme and encouraged them to come forward. We know 40 million came into the account net, he said. We know only 25 million have filed claims. You can do the math, he said. They should reach out and get the claim filed, and the only way they can participate in a dividend is by doing it. Lawyers by Pleskris have yet to comment on the kidnapping allegations, according to CBC. Now, the whole kidnapping thing, I kind of feel like this may not be the case, but I kind of feel personally that he was probably he maybe faked a kidnapping situation so that he could raise millions of dollars to either try to get himself out of trouble or to try to flee. But who knows? So here's what the crypto prodigy spent on private jets, luxury cars, and vacations. So 1 million plus spent over in investor money to live in a Burlington, Ontario mansion. He paid $45,000 per month in rent and eventually put down a deposit to buy it. 362,000 a warehouse to store his extra cash and cars, 940,000 money given to an associate, 1.6 million was from 10 sports cars, which I think is probably a lot higher than that amount of money. 5.5 million with a 500,000 deposit property in Ajax, Ontario. Now that's basically all they have like records of. But we're talking about if he actually did have $41 million come into his account, he probably has money hidden somewhere. If he's in the crypto space, he probably has money hidden somewhere. Let's see. He wasn't a prodigy, he was a criminal. He's a prodigy in lying, as is most likely his dad. This abduction story smells like more of the same. Agreed. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes, but this guy is probably lying. Find as much money as possible, start with him and what he gave his family and friends, then take everything he's ever owned and try to sell it. Even his clothes, socks, underwear, and drop him off naked at his parents' house or in the middle of nowhere without 1 cent. Hmm. Anybody that gave this spoiled kid money to invest deserves the return on investment they got. Whenever I hear crypto, I think total loss slash theft. Abduction sounds like a ploy to get money from his landlord. Who would invest with someone this age who looks like this? Like, to me, I think people are just hopeful So they will fall for scams like this, which is a really sad thing, right? Because you could potentially have people who have have worked maybe decades, right? And saved up enough money for like to buy a house cash. Let's just say like 200 grand, 300 grand. But then they see this guy and they're like, but I could buy a house, or I could maybe just put money with him and maybe I could double it, triple it. Like they get greedy. People get greedy and they get hopeful. And so they give this guy money and then they end up losing everything. So it's a very sad situation. It sucks to see that so many people have lost like all of their life savings, etc. But yeah, be very careful when it comes to crypto. Like very careful.